What's up, gang? I'm back. I knew you've been sitting there staring at your computer or your phone just waiting for me to do another video. I'm sure that's the case, and for that, I don't blame you. Anyway, I want to talk about axes again. Last time we talked about the Grand Forest Scandinavian axe and all my thoughts and opinions on not liking that too much. You got to see me cut myself, and that was great. Not the first time. Unfortunately, it won't be the last. My biggest beef with that was the profile. And I complained about the nature of that beast itself. I want to talk about an axe that I do like, that I did mention in the other video. And it's this. It's the Council Tool WoodCraft pack axe. Now, it comes with this sheath, which I'll put on. I've taken this out loads of times. I've had it as soon as it came out. I had it. And I was glad I did. So, this cost me about the same as the Grand Forest Brooks. And yet, when I go out, if I take an axe, which I have over the last couple years, this is what I take. Over time, this used to be super, super tight. In fact, it was really hard to actually fit on there. And over time, it's just loosened up. And I probably just need to do a little maintenance on it. This is it. I like this axe a lot. I took a torch and I burned the handle, right? Just because I like the way it looks, and whether it helps with keeping moisture out, I imagine that it does to a certain degree. It's 5160 steel on a 24 inch handle. This is, I think, maybe a 2 1/4 pound. Not entirely sure, because I forget. I don't care too much. It's certainly not too hefty. I think it's just a 2 pound head. I think that might be what it is. It's a straight 2 pound head. 5160 steel. It's got really like this flat ground bit. And it has these bevels here, these phantom bevels, to just lessen the friction while you're chopping, while you're splitting, so it gets stuck less. I have a really excellent grain on the handle. It's effectively, I mean, it really is straight up and down. You know, I've taken this out multiple times, 5-10 miles, and I like it. I like it a lot. In fact, almost hurt myself, almost significantly, while I was out, and like everyone, occasionally paying less attention than I should. Actually, I was paying pretty close attention, but this just went through. I was chopping a piece of wood about 5-6 inches, and apparently it was rotten, like in the middle. So it just blew through on a swing that I didn't think it would blow through on, and it almost got precarious. Anyway, I like everything about this, and I take it out every time that I go. If I take an axe this year, I'm going to not take an axe. I'm going to try to revert back to maybe a one-tool option. I think I may alternate back and forth, maybe add a buck saw. Might want to try that. I'm not sure how I feel about buying a buck saw. I feel like I'm kind of cheating the system when I could just buy a blade and make a buck saw out at the camp. I'm going to have to think about that. But when it comes to pack axes, this is excellent. This is excellent. They have a 19-inch version, which I've not held. They have aftermarket sheaths, which are great, that will come with a strap that you can loop it over and carry it on your shoulder. It's really great choking up. Now, I have feather stick with this. I've done a little bit of carving, spoon, and all that jazz with this, just to do it. I always have a knife with me, so I usually use my knife. But when you have a new tool and it feels good like this, I mean, give it a shot. See how well it works. The Gransfors wasn't too long or too uncomfortable, but you know, it just had an edge there. You know, it hurts your finger. Just hurts right there, depending on what axe you're using. This one doesn't hurt. It's got a good grip. I really like the flat grind. Convex is nice, and I can maintain a convex, and I can do convex as most axes are. But I really like the flat grind. I'm just used to it. I find that this angle, like the love-hate Fiskars, that it throws excellent chips every time, right? The Fiskars is basically just a triangle that some people love. Some people love it, some people hate it. A lot of people will shrug their shoulders and say, I prefer au naturel, which I'm in that camp. Au naturel. That's what I prefer. I prefer a wood haft. And I have a Fiskars hatchet over there, which I'd use maybe if I was car camping, which I don't really car camp. I might use it out at the fire pit if it's within closer reach than one of my other axes that I like better. I might throw it in the back of your car. There's an option. And make a great little beater, just a last-ditch effort. You throw it in your car. Anyway, we're not talking about Fiskars. We're talking about this WoodCraft pack axe with the flat grind. Right? I like the flat grind. Alright? I don't necessarily have a preference between convex or flat grind. I think they're both great. If I had to choose one, I mean, for a pack axe, I would probably choose a flat grind. Okay, because it's not going to be super heavy duty. I don't want to say that it's easier to maintain, but I feel like if it's going to be heavy duty, then the strength of a convex bit is probably the way which you should lean. That's just thoughts off the top of my head. When it comes to these WoodCraft pack axes between the 23 and the 19, I think both of those options are awesome. I really like 19. I like 19. It's a good length. All right, so here's a comparison. All right, 19 versus 17. 17's okay, but 17 gets to be hard. You know, if you need to get a little muscle behind it. 17's not great for two-handed. It's not. It's great for one-handed. It's fine for all that. 19 can just as easily be handled with one hand as it can be with two. Alright, so if you're just doing some light splitting or some light chopping, you can do one-handed, okay? If you need to get some muscle behind it, two-handed, it works just as well. So I think 19 is great. Anything below 19 is really not my preference. I'm not a big hatchet guy. I'm really not. I don't mind a 14-inch. I don't mind a pocket axe, but really once you get past 19, I guess once I get shorter than 19, I would probably I would go as small as I could just for carving and stuff like that. Very light chopping. It's not going to be splitting. I would probably just stomp on them and break them or burn them in half. I'm not going to be working it to death because it's too small and not ideal for what you want to do. So for me, 19 or 23. Okay, I think the Les Stroud is 20. I think that's great. I think somewhere in that range is perfect. I think you start to get beyond 24 and you're pushing your luck. I think Council Tool has a economic version. You know, just a standard regular poor man's version of Pack Axe in 24. It's the very traditional red paint, and I bet that thing is great. I bet it's great. You know, I talking lengths, I think 19 to 24 is a sweet spot depending on your preference. Some people, I'd probably go a little longer. Okay, I don't mind shorter. I like shorter. Okay, if I'm going to go any shorter than 19, it's just going to be a day hike stuck in a haversack loop, and it's going to be that. But really, you might as well just have a knife. Alright, so I have found that, again, I like the flat grind. I've always liked 5160. I find it to be a good steel. I do like these phantom bevels. You know, I'd like to say that they really make a difference, but I don't have an axe that's designed just like this without the phantom bevels, so I can't say it really makes a difference. It could very well be made in a traditional sense without the bevels and still not stick a bunch. I somehow doubt that, but I do like these bevels. It's got a 90 degree spine, so you can strike the ferro rod if that's something you like to do. It's got a hardened pull, so I mean, if you want to pound in your tent stakes with this, you can do that. And I tend to do that. If I make a stake, if I can't step on it with my boot and I need a little extra gumption, or if I'm just feeling especially lazy, I'll tap it in. I don't care if you use the pole for something like that. You shouldn't be, you know, smacking rocks with it, or, you know, necessarily breaking doors. I mean, don't abuse it, but I mean, you're gonna smack a tent stake, who cares? All right, you're not gonna bend this, warp it, damage it, dent it. It's a stick, for crying out loud. Anyway, if I had to choose another pack axe, I wouldn't. Okay, I would pick this one again. I like it. I like it that much, and I would certainly consider the cheaper version at the 24-inch with the red paint. I think that would make a great tool. Right? If you need something, if you want something reliable and sturdy and you can take out, and your budget is, you know, humble, as mine often has been, then I don't think you can go wrong with that. I just want to remind everybody, just a caution, like, if you haven't been out in the woods a lot, if you haven't been far out into the woods a lot, if you don't have a lot of experience with an axe, okay, I know it seems simple. We're going to chop with it. We're going to smack wood with it. I know it seems simple, all right? And in theory, it really is simple, but in reality, it's dangerous. So don't go out in the woods, far out in the woods, with an axe if you haven't had a lot of practice or a lot of experience with it at home. That is foolhardy, okay? All right, that's like people going off the grid out into some desert canyon thinking that their cell phone is going to be their backup. It doesn't work that way. There's no cell reception out there. So all you yuppies and hipsters, you should maybe get online and do some reading before you wander out and get yourself dead. Again, this is a great pack axe, but just in general, an axe in general out in the woods isn't for everyone if you don't have the experience. I wear steel toes or composite toes just because that's what I've always had for work boots. I don't feel like buying an expensive pair of boots just for hiking when I can just make small adjustments with my socks and walk just fine in them. Okay? Don't have no blisters, don't have any problems. I can hike a long way without blisters in my composite-toed work boots. Okay? It's not always been that way. I've had to learn. But I think everyone is on their own learning curve when it comes to backpacking and hiking, footwear, and blisters. Okay, but footwear and blisters is not the same as how to wield an axe safely, right? This is just extra information for you. All right, this is the WoodCraft, the Council Tool WoodCraft Pack Axe designed by Craig Roost, an excellent gentleman indeed from the Cheese State, Wisconsin. He did a great job. In fact, all of Council Tool's new line of WoodCraft axes and all the saddle axe and whatnot all look to be great. Although this is the only one I have, just because it's probably about the only one that I would use on a regular basis. Again, I don't collect a bunch of junk. I don't collect a bunch of stuff, even if it's really nice stuff. I don't collect it. If I got 4 real nice axes, and I probably do, right? This is a real nice axe. This is a real nice axe. This is a real nice axe. All right. Nevertheless, this one goes with me. Okay. I've gotten this one afterwards. This one has gone with me. It's gone with me, and then it's gotten put over there, and it sits in the corner in my bedroom. And when I go back out, I grab this one. All right. If your budget can afford multiples, and you like multiples, and you will use multiples, and that's your style and that's your preference, good for you. That's not mine. All right. I don't need a collection of a bunch of things. It just takes up space, and I don't. You know, when I move, I don't want to have to move those things. I don't need all that space taken up. Anyway, short review. Everything is great about this. All right? The only complaint, it's not a complaint. The only concern that maybe some people have, honestly, is like with these bevels in here, is that the hardened bit is probably only, I don't know, it probably only comes back to here. Maybe an inch. Probably not much more. Because after that, you're hitting the bevels. So, how much of an axe do you really have left? And that's people's concern. Is that, you know, there's only so much bit to eat up. Now, if you had, like, the Gransfors, or even, like, this plum probably has a pretty serious bit. Right? There's a lot of steel there that you'd have to wear through and tear through and use for a long time in order to get to where that's not hardened steel anymore. And people say that you might burn through this faster, and you're going to pay $140 for an axe and a piece of steel that's not got that much use out of it. But man, how much do you think you're going to go through? It's a pack axe. So, how often do you need to sharpen it? I mean, honestly, if we were just going to be honest about it, and if you were going to be serious about sharpening, which I'm not super serious about it, okay? You're just going to strop this back to razor anyway. You're going to strop it. You're going to strop it. You're not going to sharpen it. Out in the field, you might take a ceramic stone to it. Maybe. Depending on how long you're out there. Honestly, I found that I haven't really had the need for any of that between the amount of time I spend out there and the amount of use that it's getting. I mean, Craig Roost uses this axe on a regular basis for woodworking, and you can watch his videos. He's using it, seriously using it. I mean, a lot. Far more than I've used mine. And his is holding up fine. Alright, now he might be able to get another one for less than I can get another one. But honestly, this, in my opinion, if this wasn't going to last me the rest of my life, I tell you, it's not going to last you the rest of your life. Alright? I think it will. Because the use if your use is like mine and you're just a casual outdoorsman or maybe semi-serious outdoorsman, still, how much are you going to be out there beating this thing up to where you got to sharpen it, sharpen it, and sharpen it, and grind away material, and grind away material, remove material, remove material, remove material. You know, between sharpening and honing and sharpening, all that jazz, how much you think you're going to burn through? This is going to last you the rest of your life, and honestly, even if it lasts me 20 years, I will have enjoyed all 20 years of it. Okay? You give me the Gransfors Brooks, I'm not even going to take it out. I don't need to sharpen it. Why? Because I'm not using it. And guess what? I spent just as much money on that. Here's an expensive axe I showed in the last video. I'll talk about this later. The HB Forge. Right? I just set it down. And that's what I do with most of my axes because I take this one. Alright? So, if you have an opportunity to pick one up, you should pick one up. Council Tool makes great products. Always has. They always have. American made. Always been American made. Always been for serious use. Always been affordable. Always been quality. Alright? I'm not a fanboy. I'm not getting paid for this. I don't care about backing a brand per se unless the product is good, right? If the product is good, I'm going to tell you what's good. Okay, Council Tool, I've had their little hatchet. I sold it. I wish I hadn't. I was broke. Alright? It was a great hatchet. Felt great. Good hatchet. Kind of a fat bit. A little bit heavy. It felt like 14-inch handle, 1 1/4 pound. Felt fantastic. Super solid hang. I sold it. And I wish I hadn't. Had the boys' axe. Loved it. Probably need to get another one. Everything Council Tool is great. And if you get one that's not great, you know what you do with it? You send it back, and they send you one that is great. Okay? That's why I like Council Tool. That's America. America. That's what we like. We like American-made stuff when it's good, when it's quality stuff, when it's made in America, when it's affordable. That's the stuff you buy. All right? That's the stuff that you buy. Those are the companies that you support. Those are the kind of things that you get online and talk good about. Okay? If it's a piece of crap American-made thing, then guess what? I'm not going to tell you to buy it. Okay? Because I don't care where it's made. It's garbage. You can put a stamp on anything you want, right? You can say, this is some fancy Italian turd, but guess what? I'm not interested in buying a turd. Right? You might not be either. Maybe you like that sort of thing, but I'm not into scat play. So, Council Tool, everything's great about it. Craig Roost, well done. Council Tool, excellent decision. Partner up with a man who knows his tools. Axe Junkies, a fantastic site. You should join it. You should only post pictures of axes, and you should always be polite. No swearing. All right. So, thanks for watching. You guys, use your axes. Use them safely. Be realistic about your experience with them, especially if you're going out in the middle of nowhere, and you could really hurt yourself bad. All right? So, God bless everyone. Talk to you later. Peace.